In October 1943, 11 German sailors landed on the coast of Labrador, Canada. They were not captured. They were not spotted. They assembled a weather station, buried a fuel line, and left. The station ran on its own for months. It transmitted meteorological data directly to the German Navy's U-boat command. Canada did not know it existed. The question that took 37 years to answer: how did Germany build an operational intelligence station on Allied soil and no one ever noticed? By 1942, Germany's Atlantic U-boat campaign had a problem that had nothing to do with torpedoes. Weather. The North Atlantic determined convoy routes. Storms scattered Allied ships. Fog gave cover. But Germany's meteorologists were working from data collected in Western Europe, thousands of miles from where their submarines were operating. They needed weather stations in the North Atlantic itself. The solution came from Siemens. The company built a self-contained automatic weather transmitter called the Wetter-Funkgerät, model WFL 26. It weighed 220 kilograms total. It ran on nickel-cadmium batteries. It transmitted data on a preset schedule, no operator required. The Wehrmacht deployed these stations to Spitsbergen, Greenland, and Iceland. Then, they looked further west. The Labrador coast was uninhabited. It was 2,400 kilometers from the nearest German naval base in occupied France. And it sat directly beneath the weather systems that moved across the Atlantic toward the convoy lanes. One small detail: it was inside Canada. Germany sent a submarine anyway. On October 22, 1943, U-537 departed from Lorient, France, under the command of Kapitänleutnant Peter Schrewe. It carried a standard WFL-26 weather unit, the same design used in the Arctic, plus 10 aluminum canisters of batteries, a 9-meter antenna mast, and enough equipment to set up a permanent automatic station. The submarine surfaced in Martin Bay on the Labrador coast on October 22, 1943. 11 men went ashore in 2 rubber dinghies. They carried everything by hand up a rocky slope above the tree line. They assembled the unit on a flat outcrop. They buried the battery cables. They installed the antenna. The entire setup took less than 28 hours. Before leaving, Schrewe placed canisters of Canadian brand tobacco near the site. The idea: if anyone found the equipment, they might assume it was a Canadian or American project. The camouflage worked. No Canadian patrol found the site. U-537 never returned to confirm whether the station was still transmitting. Back in Germany, the meteorological reports were arriving on schedule, but no one at U-boat command knew the station had already stopped. The WFL-26 was designed to run for 6 months on its battery array. After that, it was dead. No resupply mission ever came to Martin Bay. The war's momentum had shifted by late 1943. U-537 itself was sunk in the Java Sea in November 1944, depth charged by the American submarine US Flounder. Schrewe and his crew were lost. The records of the station's installation were buried inside German Navy files. After Germany's surrender in May 1945, Allied intelligence teams swept captured naval archives. They found references to automatic weather stations in the Arctic. They found deployment records for Spitsbergen and Greenland. They did not find the Labrador file. The station sat on a rocky slope above Martin Bay, undisturbed, for the next 34 years. By the early 1970s, Canadian historians were conducting systematic reviews of wartime coastal incidents. No German landings in Labrador appeared in any Allied record. The official assessment: the Labrador coast had not been penetrated during the war. The files seemed complete. Then, in 1977, a retired German meteorologist named Franz Sellinger began reviewing Kriegsmarine records from captured German archives held in Freiburg. He found document reference WFK-26, Labrador, October 1943. The coordinates were precise. The battery specifications were listed. The antenna height was recorded. Sellinger contacted the Canadian government. In 1981, Parks Canada dispatched a field team to Martin Bay. They followed Sellinger's coordinates. At the marked location, the equipment was still there. Rusted, partially buried, but identifiable. The aluminum canisters, the antenna base, the mounting hardware stamped with Siemens part numbers. Canada had an active German military installation on its soil for 38 years and never knew. The discovery was announced publicly in 1981. The station was removed and transported to the Canadian War Museum in Ottawa, where components remain in the collection today. How did it stay hidden? 3 factors converged. First, location. Martin Bay is on the northern tip of the Labrador Peninsula. In 1943, there were no roads, no settlements, and no scheduled patrol routes within 200 kilometers. Second, the station was passive. It transmitted on a preset schedule using a directional antenna aimed east, toward Germany. It produced no signature detectable by Allied coastal monitoring equipment, which was designed to catch active radio operators, not automated transmitters. Third, the Labrador file never made it into the post-war intelligence sweep. The document was cross-referenced under a Kriegsmarine meteorological sub-registry, not under the operational command files that Allied teams prioritized. Revelation: the station wasn't hidden by deception. It was hidden by procedure. Complication: Germany had successfully operated a foreign intelligence installation on Canadian soil, but the operational benefit was minimal. The station ran for less than 6 months before its batteries died. The tobacco canisters Schrewe left, the fake Canadian branding, were never found by an Allied patrol. They were found by Parks Canada, 38 years later, sitting exactly where he placed them. U-537's crew of 57 men died in the Java Sea on November 9, 1944. The station they built transmitted weather data for approximately 28 weeks before its batteries failed. Germany received the reports. They did not change the outcome of the war. The nickel-cadmium batteries were still on site in 1981. Dead. Intact. Precisely where the German Navy's specifications said they would be.